Hi. So take a look at this painting. What do you see? Is it just bold colors blocked out by thick black lines? Take a closer look. Pause this video if you have to. This is Tableau 1, an abstract painting by Dutch artist Piet Mondrian. People often get infuriated by abstract art at a first glance because we want to get it straight away. The slow art movement was about countering exactly that, getting people to slow down to be able to interpret, reflect on, and analyze what's in front of them. Welcome to this episode of Brainwave52, where today we're getting short, sharp, and sharing the power of abstract thought. So, what's so good about abstracting? Well, being able to draw connections between ideas and zoom out to see the bigger picture is a powerful tool in forming long-term strategies. Think of a teacher who, while writing their curriculum, instead of just thinking about next week's lessons, thinks about how they're going to set their students up for what they're learning at the end of the year. Or a business executive who looks at reports internally and market changes externally and draws the connections between them to formulate a 5-year strategy for the company. Abstracting is a boost in strategic and innovative thinking. So, what is it and how does it work? Let's dig in. Let's talk about how the brain works. When we're really young, we tend to employ concrete thinking. Children learn and talk in terms of facts and objects that are right in front of them, in the here and now. As we get older and our prefrontal cortex develops, we develop the ability to form complex thoughts, connections, and bigger picture thinking. Think about playing through different scenarios before having to tell your teacher you didn't do your homework. Abstract thinking is about playing with thoughts, ideas, reflections, objects without necessarily having them in front of us or even existing at all. There are two situations that can limit our access to abstract thought. The first is just being in a bad place. When you're anxious or stressed or experiencing emotions that trigger your fight, flight, or freeze, it limits the refined access that you need to the prefrontal cortex. With that goes our strategic and bigger thinking and our ability to form connections beyond what is concrete and right in front of us. The second situation is maybe just not having the time to practice abstract thinking. Maybe your role or day to day involves more concrete thinking, or you don't have the time or scope to go much more beyond that. Our brains are really good at forming connections and shortcuts, but the downside of that is when it becomes the default for every decision that we make. It doesn't leave the room to create new connections or to think beyond just those shortcuts. This artwork by Mondrian is a really good example of abstract thought. What is it about it that propelled him to paint it? An abstract interpretation could be distilling art down to the fundamental geometric ideas of the universe, cutting through the chaos of post-World War I 1900s, looking at the pure relationship between color and space and emotion and thought. What do you see? Because we're sharing short and sharp, that is all the time we have in this episode of Brainwave 52. If abstracting and strategic thought sounds like tools you'd like to bring to your team, reach out. Otherwise, stay tuned for our next episode where we look at the wonderful world of decision making. Bye.